Welcome to another edition of Pittsburgh Sportsline. This is our Tuesday night live show. We're seen on Verizon 32 everywhere in the greater Pittsburgh area. If you're in Bethel Park, you know it's on Comcast 7. You can watch 32 and 7. You can see us from Nemacolin all the way up to Cranberry, Wexford, and throughout the city of Pittsburgh. And I appreciate you watching our show. We got young Jack here on cameras again. He just gave me the heads up. Thanks, Jack. We appreciate that. We got a new guy in the studio, and we got Rosie must have come in running here to find out about the lights and help us out. So we got a lot of volunteers helping out. Devin Shea's still there holding down the fort, making sure this gets broadcast throughout the area. So thanks to all of you, and thanks to Dave Cable back from vacation. I'm Al Levine, the talking machine. We got Chip the Prophet Hayner, Smoking Jim Frazier, and Zach Brenner. The whole crew was on time this week and sitting here eating pizza. And I want to just start out and thank, I always got to do a promo if I could find this Olive Oil's Pizzeria somewhere in there. Oh, man, you might want to get a picture of this. Jack, I'm going to test you. We got this from the racetrack. If you can pull a close-up here, there's a guy who won the race right here. That is Smoking Jim Frazier.
Yes.
I give him credit. He didn't see the race. He also held his breath. The longest I've ever seen anybody hold his breath on a horse. And thanks to Chris Gooden for getting us those photos.
Thanks, Chris.
He did a great job, and there's one on the, I didn't want to show that because Smoking Jim's standing, and I was worried he might fall down. No, he's okay. Let's see. I can't find that Olive Oil's Pizzeria thing. I got too many promos here. Well, anyhow, their pizza was great. We enjoyed it. That pepperoni and sausage is fantastic. Call 412-831-1900. They're a little busy tonight. They've had so many calls. Business is up, so we're glad to hear that right at Hillcrest Shopping Center. Check them out. We got a lot of sports talk. Of course, we're going to talk about that. We even have a Bucko segment that's still going to come up as we put that to rest. And I knew I could find it. I'll test you, Jack. Are you ready there? There it is. There's so much Olive Oil's Pizzeria around here. Thank you. No. Definitely. There it is. Check out our sponsor of our show tonight. We appreciate that. Now, we start our show off with What's on Your Mind, and we'll start with Zach Brenner. What's on your mind?
Well, Al Levine, the talking machine. I'm gonna make this brief. Smoking Jim, I don't know how much you paid attention or didn't pay attention at Cal University, but this is your standard light switch. Okay. I'm gonna make a demonstration here. It was on. This represented the Pirates in the playoffs, and then you just flick this down, and it was off, and the Buckos are out. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
Okay, let's
go. The hat that I wear.
Smoking Jim Frazier, what's on your mind?
I wasn't done yet, Al Levine.
Oh, I thought that was your short thing. Thank you, Zach.
No, I never keep it short like Smoking Jim. I also have a hat on tonight that I want to remind all the North Shore folks who's the division champs. Most recently, the Pirates haven't won a division title since 1992. So there's always hope. Better luck next year. Go get them, boys. But what's really on my mind is the Pittsburgh Steelers. Last night, I couldn't believe the gutsy call to run the Wildcat with 5 seconds left on the goal line. If had that not gone right, I don't even know what the mood of the city would be today right now. But it did go right, and Le'Veon Bell got just enough across the goal line to secure the victory. I predicted a 27-20 win for the Steelers last night at the Park Place at Pittsburgh Sportsline on location, but the final score was 24-20. So I was slightly off, but the outcome was the one that I was looking for. But huge shout out to Big Ben for calling up a 72-yard bomb. to Marcus Wheaton from Michael Vick. I guess there's a little bit of arm left in the Virginia boy. And that's what's on my mind tonight, folks.
Great job.
Thanks, Zach. Smoking Jim, I've never seen you this happy.
That's my man, Lil Z.
No, I think it's about the Pirates, but as everybody knows, I'm not going to say a word about it because their reputation's not hard-earned. It's just simplistic. Now we'll go to Smoking Jim Frazier. What's on your mind?
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And if you want the green,
72 yards.
You got to see Levine in my old
Back
high school option days.
When? I heard you weren't even a running back. We're trying to dig into that.
But what's on my mind is a couple things, just get out of the way. Real honored to be part of a weekly show on Channel 11 called Championship Chase. On at,
You all right, Zach?
1:30 in the morning on Saturdays on Channel 11, and also at 11 in the morning on PCNC. So now you can see Smoking Jim on Pittsburgh Sportsline Tuesday through Saturdays, and Channel 11 on Sundays. And the only thing now is if we can get a show live on Monday night, and that'd be 7 days a week we'd be on TV.
A little interruption. Don Campiti has said he's seen our show at 11 a.m. Mondays.
See, there we go. 7 days a week. And I was going to say, if anybody can do a live show, Al Levine, the talking machine, would be able to handle that. Best interviewer I ever seen, radio or TV. But
I'm still not going to ease up on you because of the Pirates.
But what's on my mind?
What's really on your mind?
But what's on my mind is high school football, and want to give out the Pittsburgh Sportsline Player of the Week. I'll go through the honorable mentions. First honorable mention has to go through a guy from Bentworth High School, Ethan Touche. He ran for 329 yards, 6 touchdowns, in a win against California, PA. Second honorable mention goes to quarterback from Bethel Park, Levi Matheny. And he threw for over 200 yards and ran for a couple of touchdowns in a loss. 277 yards in a loss against Mount Lebanon, but Bethel Park's playing real well. Third honorable mention goes to the entire South Fayette High School football team for 37-0 victory over Steel Valley. Can I get the DVD? I tell you what, I wish I'd have been at the game. Did Steel Valley even pinch them? But South Fayette must be for real. But my player of the week, and I told you guys before that this player, before I even ever seen him play, I said he'd be the best quarterback ever come out of this area, better than Marino, better than Terrell Pryor, better than Jim Kelly. And his name is
Joe Montana?
Way better than Joe.
Whoa.
His name is Phil Jakovic from Pine Ridgeland. Ran for 233 yards, passed for 258 yards in Pine Ridgeland's victory. They're still undefeated. This guy is 6'5.5", and he's probably be an All-American in basketball and football. So probably best football player since Tommy Clemens and basketball player to come out of this area. And that's what's on. Everybody will be recruiting him. Everybody in football and basketball.
Wow. You're talking about the best quarterback, even better than Terrell Pryor. Is that the same Terrell Pryor that can't get signed by anybody? Just wondering.
You had to bring up his credibility factor.
Terrell Pryor was the #1 high school football player in the country when he was a senior, and this guy will be better than all those guys I mentioned for high school.
I trust your insight, Jim.
Thank you, sir. Insight. And that's what's on my mind.
Thank you, sir, Jim. Chip Painter, what's on your mind?
Before I get what's on my mind, shot across the bow over here. to my good friend Zach Brenner, and I just like consistency. Gutsy call by the Steelers head coach. This is the same head coach that wasn't fit to have the job last week. The only reason he got the job was because of the Rooney Rule, right? But there's a gutsy call last night. Way to go, Zach.
And we don't know who made that call.
You know what? I got to
Rooney
give
could
you a
have made
little
that from
pause.
his wheelchair.
No, I got to give you a little pause because I have this theory, and some of my psychiatrist friends, they said, Al, all our appointments were canceled today.
Yep.
I said, how could they all be canceled? And then I thought, Steelers won. And I had a little discussion with my one friend, and I said, isn't it amazing when they lose last week, when it was a team effort, the whole team, coaching staff and everything. So everybody sort of agreed to that. And he goes to me, hey, that's why I'm in business. So we have a couple people that I might be able to get you a free consultation. Just let me know, and I'll give you that number off air.
So,
Go ahead. What's on your mind?
What's on my mind is probably the most, let me see this, the most popular sport in Western Pennsylvania, and that would be high school football. Yes, okay? And what I want to do is I've read this article twice, and I'm sure I don't know all the ins and outs of it, but I just want to talk about what the PIAA decided to do last week, much to the chagrin of the WPIAL, and I think it's going to ultimately hurt Western Pennsylvania football more than it's going to help it. But the PIAA has decided to add classifications to the major college high school sports. So now instead of there being 4 classifications, quad A, triple A, double A, single A, they're going to go 6 classifications, 6A, 5A, and so forth and so on. And it's pretty ironic that the only negative votes in this whole matter were from Western Pennsylvania. And actually, if you think about football, and geez, they talk about the hotbed of football. Western Pennsylvania is known around the world as being the place that develops the best football players. And I can understand why the WPIAL was really against this, because it doesn't really seem to make a whole lot of sense. To me, it looks like the rich are going to get richer, and the less fortunate schools are going to get dropped off the wayside. And how that will work out is, they're changing all these classifications, and so now there are going to be schools that are going to have to travel great distances to play games. It's going to ruin the natural rivalries that have existed since these teams have been playing high school football for almost 100 years, which is one of the reasons why there's such passion and you get such crowds on Friday nights at all the games. And Jim can attest to this. I mean, Jim's been a high school football fanatic for as long as he's, from the days when he played.
So we hear.
Or so rumor has it. But, and here's where I think it's going to hurt the WPIAL the most. I think, one of the best weekends of every fall is the Friday or the Saturday after Thanksgiving at Heinz Field, where the WPIAL championships are played. There's 4 classifications. There's 4 games. Mm-hmm. They're all played in one day, and it's great for the WPIAL. It's great for the schools. These athletes now. How are they going to fit 6 games into one day?
5 a.m.
It's not going to happen, and it's going to take away from something that's been going on for over 30 years and has built a great tradition. I don't know if it makes a lot of sense, but apparently the WPIAL realizes that this is etched in stone, and next year a lot of the schools are going to be changing classifications, and we'll see how this all plays out. I just think it's a black eye for Western Pennsylvania football, but I don't think it was the best move in the best interest of everybody involved. So that's what's on my mind.
Great job.
Thanks, Chip. Appreciate you going in depth.
I agree with you.
In depth on the politics of sports. So it happens. Mm-hmm. What's on my mind is we got a nice fall day today. Football's running rampant in Pittsburgh. We're all happy. Numerous reasons, as my co-host mentioned. What I'm excited about is the Penguins are at home looking for their first win. Now, hopefully I get a report on that. I didn't hear anything on the score since they started at 7 o'clock. So I'm eagerly waiting. Since my smartphone, I can get that at any time. I'll have to check. Oh, Chip, I got those updates.
Hey,
I can check that.
Can I interrupt you
can
for
interrupt
just a
me.
minute?
Well,
What's
I'm just
going to
happy.
happen first? The Penguins get their first win of the season, or Sidney Crosby takes his first shot on goal.
At home, he gets his first shot on goal. We will have that happen. Because I was just going to finish with our two superstars have disappeared in the first couple games.
More than two of them.
Well, I'm looking at offense. I'm looking for the offense. That's what I'm looking for. And I haven't seen it yet. But I do remember, this is like an eerie coincidence. You had the Pirates that they aren't my esteemed colleagues. They're just, I don't know what they are right now.
Colleagues.
They're colleagues. The Pirates were done after the first loss. They definitely were done after the second loss. And did anybody on the Penguins get a haircut? Is Letang's hair short? Because he better grow it back. All right? But I'm confident that we'll have the same type of season and get in the playoffs. And I predicted a Stanley Cup. So let's go, Pens. That's what's on my mind. And we're going to start with our segments like we do each week. Smoking Jim, did you finish that last slice of pizza yet?
I got one more to go.
Okay, well then we better get a short one we have do a long one. Fiction and fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac.
Hey, thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And I tell you what, man, this is a special one. From 2002 to 2006, I was the president of Champion Enterprises. And then I stepped down.
What years? What was that? What
from
years?
2002 through 2006. And then I stepped down to take a position of senior vice president.
Don't even explain it.
And I've held that position ever since. But during my time as president, the Atlanta Constitution rated our summer basketball league, the Connie Hawkins Summer Basketball League, one of the top 10 summer basketball leagues in the country. And the best basketball player in our league at the time was Rico Abadanza. And so one day I come to the basketball court by the number 2 police station in East Liberty, where it was still sunny out. I used to leave before it got dark. And
why is it?
And
Find his way back to Monroe.
I wanted to beat the traffic. Batman wanted to get out of there, but
that's not unusual.
But somebody whispered to me that Jason Williams was here, and I was thinking it was Jason Williams that killed his limo driver. So I thought I'd be leaving the court earlier. And I looked down and I see this white guy with a baseball cap on and this white chocolate, and couldn't have been a nicer guy. The first play of the game, Jason Williams, from the top of the key at the opposite end, throws a behind-the-back pass for a layup 3/4 of the way from the court, put on an absolute show, played a few times in our league because at the time he was dating a girl from Brentwood and ended up marrying the girl from Brentwood, and we all know there's great people in Brentwood.
Yeah,
Bill Boyce, my dentist, Frank Capetta, and my great friend, Chip Hayner. And that's the fiction and fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac. Jason Williams in the Connie Hawkins Summer Basketball League put on a show. Him and Rico, 2 white guys dominated.
No, I'm more
How'd
impressed.
that tie in?
Yeah, I don't
That's such a, we got basketball coming up with the Bullets or something. I mean, what? We got no professional. This is just amazing. Shout out to the Connie Hawkins Basketball League for the 200th time.
Zach.
Pittsburgh Premier, Bill Neal, the whole gang, man. Shout out to all you guys.
No, Zach, let me clear this up for you. You know how you discuss with people and you might bring up a comment and people think you're pretty rough, but you'll ask a statement like, if things are going on and you want to promote it, why don't you say something? Because we do it for free. Let me tell you what happened. There's a City League Hall of Fame award dinner Saturday night.
I was looking for your dad's plaque. I couldn't find it. I was all over City Hall. I couldn't find any plaques. They were looking at me like I was crazy.
Well, the key is you should have went to Peduto's office and say, what happened? And he would have told you. But this is one of the odd things that he's only segueing into nothing because he has an event coming up. We don't know what happened. So Thanks, Smoking Jim.
He was president or something.
Wow.
We had a great NBA basketball player in the city that played the Summer Basketball League, and I was there to witness his greatness.
It's opening of hockey night tonight. You know,
Yeah.
the Steelers had a big game last night. You're an NFL scout, and we're talking about white chocolate.
All right, we got enough because you're the only one that knew that. Nobody else even did it. Let's go to Chip's trivia time because the nonsense cannot continue. Let's go.
All right, thank you very much, Alan. And baseball season's now deep into the playoffs. The first round of the playoffs are going along. A lot of the series are quite competitive. St. Louis and the Cubs. Cubs are up 6-4 on the Cardinals right now in the bottom of the seventh. The Mets and the Dodgers play later on tonight. Both series in the American League are tied at 2 games each. So there's game 5, 2 game 5s tomorrow. That'll be interesting to witness. And just to touch on a couple of real kind of minor baseball trivias is there are 2 teams in the Major League Baseball that have never won a division title. The Colorado Rockies and the Miami Marlins. Oh, they didn't mention the Pirates, right? Because they've won division titles. Okay, and also we talk about pitching, and after watching Jake Arrieta dismantle the Pirates' batting lineup Wednesday night, it brings into my thought no hitters. No hitters is like the ultimate achievement by a starting pitcher. And there's only one team in Major League Baseball that has never had a no hitter pitched by one of its pitchers, and that would be the San Diego Padres. But that being said, today is a day of pretty significant event in Pittsburgh sports history happened 55 years ago today. We'll mention that a little bit later, but that got me thinking about walk-off home runs, okay? And I thought, well, geez, walk-off home runs, those are a dime a dozen, I mean, how many times did we hear that happen over the course of this season? So what I did was I narrowed my search down to World Series walk-off home runs, and I was able to come up with a list of the top 10 of all time.
Really?
Okay, so I'm going to start with number 10. Number 10 was by Dusty Rhodes in 1954, played for the New York Giants. In Game 1, he hit the first walk-off homer ever in World Series history.
I thought he was a wrestler.
No. Not that dusty. Not that dusty. Tommy Henrik, that was in the National League. Tommy Henrik in 1949 for the New York Yankees. Game 1, walked it off with a home run, so gave the Yankees a 1-0 lead. Number 8 on the list happened in 1957, and this was in Game 4. Eddie Matthews of the Milwaukee Braves hit a home run to tie the series against the Red Sox, 2 games to 2. The next one is a person that I could just ask Jim at any time. What are his statistics? What's his name? And who did he play for? Derek Jeter, 2000. The New York Yankees in Game 4. He hit a walk-off home run in that game for the Yankees to beat the Arizona Diamondbacks, and unfortunately, the Yankees lost that World Series to the Diamondbacks.
That's why he won't get in the Hall of Fame.
Only World Series. Next up on our list, number 6, David Freese in 2011 for the St. Louis Cardinals. Hit a home run in the 6th game to send the game to the 7th game of the series, which the Cardinals ended up winning the World Series.
Mr. Freeze.
Next, a Hall of Famer who had a tragic death much too young, Kirby Puckett of the Minnesota Twins in 1991, hit a walk-off home run in extra innings to send a World Series to the 7th game, which the Twins, in fact, won on a game pitched by Jack Morris. Number 4 on the list, one of the more famous home runs of all time, was hit by Carlton Fisk in 1975. It was in Game 6 of the World Series against the Cincinnati Reds. Carlton Fisk hit that home run that sent the series to the 7th game, which the Big Red Machine won, by the way. Number 3 on the list, Kirk Gibson, 1988, the Los Angeles Dodgers.
On one leg.
The only game he played in that series. He hit a game-winning home run in Game 1, which the Dodgers happened to sweep the heavily favored Oakland A's in that series. Number 2 on the list happened in 1993, and it was the first walk-off home run it was actually the second walk-off home run in the 9th inning to win the series. It was Joe Carter of the Toronto Blue Jays. And then there's number 1. The first ever walk-off home run in the 7th game of a World Series to win the world title. First batter up in the bottom of the 9th inning. Bill Mazeroski jacked one out at Forbes Field for the Pirates World Championship 1960. But that's my trivia for tonight. That's what I got.
That'll get you first ballot Hall of Fame.
Well, he wasn't a first ballot.
Smoking Jim, does a leopard change its spots?
Smoking Jim.
Can a leopard change its spots?
He had to wait 30 years to get elected into the Hall of Fame, but at least it happened in his lifetime.
You were close.
Unfortunately, that will never happen to Pete Rose. Long after he's dead and buried.
Pete put it all on the Cubbies tonight, so it might be a good call.
You know he's allowed to bet since he's banned and has no chance,
Right.
and he's not managing.
And
he made more money and lost more money when he was managing.
And more importantly,
In baseball.
he is not. He has no duty to perform in any of these games, so this can't hurt his banishment.
Exactly.
This just only adds to it.
And his wife still tells him to stay out of the hall.
With Skechers.
All right, now that we covered that segment, let's go to Z time because I know it got to be something with NASCAR.
Nah, we're gonna stray a little bit away from NASCAR.
What? Your boys in the biggest race of the year.
We're gonna touch a little bit more on the high school. I was gonna talk about it and what's on my mind, but I saw Chip had an article there, and I just let it go until it was my turn. So basically, what it boils down to, folks, is a little bit more in depth than what Chip was talking about. Is some folks over on the eastern side of the state, where there's a couple powerhouse teams, but nowhere near as many as in southwestern Pennsylvania, have got together and they've gotten very high positions in the PIAA. And part of what's bothering them is that there's something about playing at Heinz Field that is more appealing to most of our kids in southwestern Pennsylvania. Why wouldn't you want to play at Heinz Field? So basically, these guys out east are really jacked about the fact that we really put going to Heinz Field, up there in this side of the state. So what they want to try to do is they want to try to level the playing field and hammer us where it hurts and kind of diminish the value of playing at Heinz Field. And they want everybody to go to Hershey. And I don't know if any of you guys know about Hershey, but in the time of the year when they play the state championships, sometimes the one year I was there, it was waist deep in snow. So it's not the most easiest thing to get to watch the state championship game. So I think if it's not broke, don't fix it. And there was no reason for the PIAA to institute this or do anything like this other than to kind of hurt the one out of the 12 districts, which is the WPIL. And I'm completely against it, and hopefully that there's some kind of intervention between now and the start of next season that overrules it.
Well, the two districts that voted against it was District 7 and 8, and that's those are both in Western PA. And District 8, I believe, is the City League. They voted against it, and then the three directors for the WPIAL voted against it as well. Go ahead, Jim.
Well, for me personally, I think they can still play the games at Heinz Field. All you have to do, you can still play 4 games at Heinz Field. Just knock off the Class A and Class AA, send them over to Couple Stadium.
Spoken Jim, that's why you're not president anymore of anything.
That
vice president thing isn't going too far either. Because whoever's in charge of your PR gave you no literature or anything else. Zach, was that it, or we got more?
Well, and also touching on high school football, you enjoy victory. When you get the W, and when you lose, you take it, on the chin for days to come. And we came up short on Root Sports, Still Valley, on Friday Night Lights, 37-0. But South Fayette's the reigning state champion. So if the PIAA wants to, make that the what, then we lost to the defending state champions, and we're 5-1 now, and we're coming for Keystone Oaks.
Where was the game played?
Still Valley.
But you know what, though, Zach, we like to tease one another about each other's favorite teams and everything. But Steel Valley's got no reason to hang their head.
Yes, they do.
No, I will tell you what, they got beaten by a much better team with better athletes, better coaches.
But there's one startling.
You know what?
There's a better.
Why can't we all get along? For crying out loud, why can't we all get along?
I think there's one thing that we could all agree to. When your bread and butter is your running back, Murray, they didn't do a good job, Coach Steele and Steel Valley, in showcasing Murray and finding ways to get Murray the ball, every way they possibly could. So, so they lost. So on to the next one. And
one comment on that: you do try to get your players in a good position, but we had the Steelers about 2 weeks ago. They were in that position. They had a lead. So with your running back, no disrespect against any of these kids, they do work hard. Sometimes you come across the better team, it's their day. And the rest of it, you sound bad because it's like an excuse. You got beat. They were the best team that day. That's why you hear a lot of people say that. Could they win another game against them? I don't know. It looks like it's their year. But maybe it's possible. So I don't play for KO anymore. And we were always in the top conference because for some reason the baby boom hurt us. Mm-hmm. We just made it in with Mount Lebanon, Bethel Park, Cannon McMillan, everybody else. And you know what? We even won like 4 games that year, and we almost beat Bethel Park my senior year, except they had a kicker who went to the NFL, Zach. He kicked a field goal in the rain and beat us by 3 points at the end of the game. No, we're not going to change history with anything you say. Smoking Jim, I was trying to be a little serious, telling Zach that you just never know. Sometimes David even beats Goliath because Smoking Jim's a big Bible guy. Just ask him. He'll tell you that story.
He would actually have to read it, though. And
he would have gone, yeah.
There's different.
No, he would have gone, yeah. Yeah. So, Zach, there's no shame in the game with Steel Valley and Keystone Oaks. I hope they give him a good game, but what I got to shout out to is my man, Coach Jeff Sig, who Zach got me on the field at Steel Valley. I snuck up on him, and he was in the process of yelling at some players who were young to get him in position. By the time I left, he said, Al, we're going to do better next year. Hats off to Coach Sig at Keystone Oaks. That's all I care about. If these young guys and young men, and even some of the girls that are kicking footballs now, if they're doing better than they did at the beginning, that's fantastic. And not everybody's a superstar on every team. I know Smoking Jim was, but look at him now. He can't even hold a position of president. Come on, man. You can't have a president and then get demoted to vice president.
I stepped down.
We don't know what the
senior vice.
We don't know what the validity of this. These are just.
Well, I'm investigating it right now, and I hope nobody's listening because it's a for-profit company now. I don't know how you go from a non-profit president to a for-profit vice president.
Senior vice president.
Well, whatever title you give it.
That was only from 2002 to 2006.
All right, enough of this nonsense, and good luck to everybody in high school football, and I hope everybody's healthy and gets the best plays out of the way and the best coaching that they can do. And go Hawks. See you later. All right, we were on location, and one of our favorites, the poet, Billy Nardozzi from KO.
And
Bonnie gave this to me, not Smoking Jim or Zach. And Zach embraced it. They only threw his name in later because, they threw it in early, and then later they were hesitant.
Well, why?
Because of what I told them.
Yes.
And then you proved me right 100%. Billy come up to me and said privately, goes, I really didn't know Zach's like that. What does that mean? You proved it.
Zach had a
this is from the Pardon me?
Zach had a pirate shirt on, Billy said.
Yeah, but here's the problem. He said, I love the 70s. He wasn't even born, and he doesn't believe anything. Liar. Okay.
Well, actually, this picture here is what referred to as the Pirates lineup. They used to refer to them as the Pittsburgh Lumber Company.
Yes.
And the Pirates lineup in the 70s generally had 4 or 5 players that batted over 300. And
tell them what that means. 3 out of 10 hits.
But, more importantly, they used to have a little saying about the Pirates in the 70s. They said the team flew into town on one plane. They flew the bats in on a separate plane.
Wow, I like that.
Well, you lived through it, so it's funny how you didn't know that.
They don't say that now.
You know what? Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing as a senior vice president today? I rest my case. All right, we got a Joey Fabus concert on the 23rd at Crown Plaza. Check it out. It's coming up now on the 23rd at 7 p.m. 18 and over. It's an adult night. $10 cover Smoking Jim. 50-50. Chinese raffle. Cash bar. All the proceeds go to the Joey Fabus Foundation to try to beat cancer. It's going to be a good event. I'll be up there filming some of the event and getting some interviews. Can't wait to help out. Stay Joey strong. We appreciate it.
Is that the land, that land that would be there?
Excuse me?
Okay, lantern.
Are you reading long distance? A jack-o'-lantern. Smoking Jim, I don't know whatever you did today. We did miss you at a networking event today, but you did not. But the food was good. You guys shouldn't lie right away. At least pause when you make an answer like that. It's like you predetermine it.
It's tough.
Pets for Vets. Let's check that out. Janine, I've done this a couple weeks in a row. Go to their website, find out more about this and helping our soldiers, men and women, after they come back from all the wars we're fighting in. So thank you all the servicemen, and thank you for the pets for helping them. Pets for Vets. Now, Bethel Park, we have our scholarship fund. I'll get you this. Jack, you are doing one heck of a job pulling in these close-ups on here.
Thank you.
All right, and that was the voice of Jack, if you heard it. We have the Zombie Walk, the second annual Zombie Walk 2015, Saturday, October 24th, 4 p.m. Try to arrive at the high school parking lot by 3:45, $10 for each person. Children under 10 may walk and have a costume for free. It's a fun event. Last year, the zombies attacked me. It's on film. You can see it. I hope it doesn't happen this year. We have rumors that Bethany Montecalvo will be there and her holistic bunny friend, Jamie Molinaro. So they're supposed to be bringing makeup, and if you need some makeup, they may help you, Smoking Jim. I told him he won't appear. Don't worry. So we got that out of the way. Well, we had a great show last night at the Park House.
Yes, sir.
A lot of great guests. I want to thank them for coming out. We had the Hug Master, Greggy, come out, gave Zach Brenner one of the best man hugs I've seen after a Steeler victory.
It helped, man. It helped.
He needed it because he felt so down about what I said about the Pirates and him. He didn't know what I meant, but he found out. No, he didn't find out later. He doesn't read. But that's okay. These are all opinions. And my opinion is they are still the same, no matter what they said after the first loss. Go Buccos. I believe in you next year. 3 in a row in the playoffs. That's so much better than winning 56 games. And everybody said come July, when did the Steelers start? This year, it was till October we heard about it. And Kutch was not clutch. He holds a tradition with guys like Barry Bonds who win MVPs during the year. Now, maybe that'll get corrected. So I'm hopeful for 2016.
Well,
stay tuned. We'll have a segment coming up unless you want to segue right into it since I
it's-
got you riled up.
I think it's perfect to segue right into it, and I would also like to
Go ahead.
Going into the off season, I would like to hear Levine and Chip's thoughts on moving forward, what they think the direction this team is going to take.
A winning direction.
Well, first,
Player personnel.
let's
I don't care about
let's,
it.
Let's look back on the season that just was. And as Pirates have had one of their most successful seasons in their entire career. It was the third time that they've won 98 games. 98 games is quite a significant accomplishment.
Yes.
The unfortunate thing is they ran into a pitcher that had done something that has never been done in Major League Baseball history. And that was Jake Arrieta pitched a game against the Pirates on Wednesday night where he shut out the opponent, struck out more than 10 batters, and did not walk a single batter. And that has never been done in Major League history. Also, the run that Jake Arrieta is on has not been, nobody in Major League Baseball has seen anything like this in 100 years, and actually over 100 years. So, I mean, you can laugh at them, joke all you want, but you know what? Pirates got no reason to hang their heads. We said bid adieu to a couple of, major leaguers who hung up their hats at the end of this year. Wish Jake, I wish AJ Burnett well. He helped instill the winning attitude in the Pirates when he came over here from the Yankees in 2012, and he showed a bunch of young ball players with a lot of talent how to win.
And he played hurt.
He played hurt.
He played with some damage to his arm that he had to withstand pain all the time, and he only missed a couple games.
And he showed these young players how to be a professional Major League Baseball player and what it takes to win. Then you had Aramis Ramirez, who completed the circle. Started out as a Pirate prospect, played the first 5 years with the Pirates, and then, in a salary dump, the Pirates traded him away. And he finished his career here, and he did everything that was asked of him when he came back to the Pirates. He became the cleanup hitter that the Pirates desperately need to find this offseason. Now, speaking about what's going to happen with the Pirates moving forward, as unfortunate as this may be to a lot of people to hear, unfortunately, I think we've seen Pedro Alvarez play his last game for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Pedro has a lot of potential. He was the top home run hitter of the team in the last 3 years, but his defense is just too much of a liability for the Pirates. I think what the Pirates are going to try to do is they'll try to make some type of a trade, probably to an American League team, DH, where he could be a DH, but, you got to package up some type
talent.
of prospects. I honestly think they should try to get some type of Major League ready ball player. We do need to fill that first baseman position. We've got too many bit players, and we need an everyday first baseman. You look at, in our division, you look at Joey Votto of the Reds. He's an all-star first baseman. You look at Anthony Rizzo for the Chicago Cubs. These are guys that play every day, and they're solid first basemen. They're solid in the field. They bat against righties. They bat against lefties. You can't just have a first baseman that can only bat against right-handed pitchers. So,
can I ask you a question, Chip?
Go ahead.
The whole time, the Pirates, and I'm a Pirate fan.
I didn't hear you.
But
Don't lie in front of the
But the whole
public.
time, the Pirates have been chasing the Cardinals, and I think they can not only catch them next year, I think they can pass the Cardinals. However, the Cubs look like a good young team. Now, could it be that the Cubs is going to be the gold standard now?
Well, you know what? The Cubs and the Cardinals are going to be the teams. Well, the Cubs, the Cardinals, and the Pirates are going to be the teams to beat in the Central Division. And the Central Division in the National League is the best division in baseball. It's been proven out by the best 3 records coming out of that.
Another wild card.
There's a lot of work that needs to be done. Like the Pirates have to rebuild their pitching staff, okay? They've got Cole, they've got Liriano. Now Garrett Cole had a horrible game Wednesday night.
Yes,
it was a big game. For whatever reason, he didn't have it that night, and I don't know if it would have made a difference if Clint Hurdle would have pulled him earlier and put Liriano into pitch, but that's neither here nor there right now. So now we've got our number 1 and our number 2 starter. Now we picked up somebody at the trade deadline that nobody heard of. Everybody thought Neil Huntington was a goof for signing him, bringing him in. Jay Happ's a free agent. I'd love to see him back on our staff for next year. The guy was solid, and I think we could probably get him. I bet you if the Pirates offered him 2 years, $22 million, that they might be able to get him in a Pirates jersey for the next couple of years. Absolutely worth it. A left-hander that's got an ERA under 2.
He knows baseball, so he realizes that if you have a left-hander who keeps you under 2 runs a game,
yes,
you need 2 of them.
Right.
And Searage is a miracle worker. I think he should talk to Happ because he helped save his career.
Well, and you know what? Who knows? Because Happ never had the success that he had before he came here to Pittsburgh this year.
Is there any interest throughout the league of Searage potentially becoming a manager?
Actually, no. As a matter of fact, who's a very strong candidate for the San Diego Padres managerial position is Rick Sofield, the third base coach. He's being looked at. Searage,
and I hope he would go
because
no
of the poor base
no
running.
offense against him, but I would hope he gets that opportunity.
Singe isn't going anywhere. Now, to get back to who else is going to, because the team that we fell in love with this year is going to be different than the team that goes out into the field in April. Here's the next question. Neil Walker. Here's a guy on his last year of arbitration.
That's your first baseman.
No,
he's
never
ex-catcher, second baseman.
But he can play first. Move him to first. Why not, right?
Too much money. What are
Would
you
you?
probably going to command?
Well,
Somebody's going to pay it, but he's 0-26 in the playoffs.
Here's what I think will keep Neil Walker on the roster for next year: the injury to Gung. Because Gung is not going to be ready to start the season next year, and he may not be back till May. Right. He may not be back, period, because of the severity of the injury that he had. Jay Hay probably will be your third baseman at the start of the year. Jordy Mercer's going to be your shortstop. Our outfield is set. Now, in the pitching staff, you've got Jeff Locke, you've got Charlie Morton. Jeff Locke, I have less of a concern about. As a number 5 starter, he's serviceable. The person that I don't understand what's going on is Charlie Morton. Now, Charlie Morton, if you've ever watched him pitch, and I'm sure, Jim, you've hung on every pitch he's thrown.
Cut bait.
He's got some of the filthiest stuff I have ever seen a human being throw. I mean, he's got pitches that are literally unhittable, but there's something going on in between his ears, and he just, he'll pitch 3-4 good innings, and then he'll just lose his mind, and he'll give up 5 runs. And I don't know if Ray Searage can fix what's wrong with him. He's been working with him for years. I don't know if he's somebody that we package up in the interest of trying to get a first baseman in here, but there'll be going to be a lot of moves that are going to be made. Tyler Glasnow may be ready for the big league club come spring next year. No. Maybe not. I wouldn't expect to see him till May or June, so that we get that extra year out of him. It'll be interesting to see. But the one thing that I've learned after the last few years, I'm going to trust Neil Huntington. I'm going to trust Clint Hurdle and his staff, and I'm going to trust Bob Nutting to spend as much money as he has to spend, not more.
He's kept to that pretty good. He's a good businessman, and that 5-year plan was extended. But I'm a happy Bucco fan because it's such a pleasure to be talking about this. Not that it irritates anybody to talk in October when we should just be talking football and Penguins, but I enjoy it, and that's what counts here, and a lot of other people too. As far as with free agents and everything, you have to have the scouts look at it. I'm sure they are looking at who's coming up. For us to speculate on it right now, you have what's called the fireside chats during the, before spring training and during the winter. And you guys have so much experience with baseball. That's traditional. So that's when you have a lot of these things happen.
Well, yeah, there's
December and January. So that. And the talk now is a little bit too much advanced.
I'm enjoying my Cubbies.
And you know what?
When?
And always the biggest names and the highest priced free agents are not always the best value. Right. So, that's one of the things that I like about what this Pirates management staff has done.
Cheap?
Hey, you know what? 98 wins ain't cheap, buddy. 98 wins ain't cheap. You can laugh all you want about it, but it is what it is,
Well, he's an honest man. Don't worry about that. All right, enough Bucco talk. It was a great season, no matter the naysayers. Who cares about people choking?
Hey, man.
They choke on the Steelers daily, by the minute. Speaking of Steelers, you know what? We got coaches that are so out of control as a head coach. One week he can make a decision that's one of the worst in the history. He should have let the kicker kick the ball. Or how about you have Bell run a play because you lied to us? We have a full week to get Vic ready. Everybody that I talked to said, what's he mean by a full week? I go, nothing, because it's a Thursday game. Now we went past that, and we see Big Ben. Here's what gets me. I listen to the players because the interviews, they're excited, they're happy. He come out and said, without Big Ben on the sideline as a coach, we wouldn't have won the game. Do you know how disrespectful that is? You have their buddy Tomlin right there going.
But, I listened to the interview with Roethlisberger today. And I listened to the interview with Mike Tomlin. And Mike Tomlin said the play that they hit on with Marcus Wheaton was a play that they'd practiced at least 3 or 4 times during the week. And it was a play that they had discussed. Ben's input was included in calling that play. But here's the thing. We talked last week about how Mike Tomlin's clock management is horrible. And, when we played the Ravens, who was it? John Harbaugh had the referees put 4 seconds back on the clock. And that extra 4 seconds made a difference in the game, gave them enough time to tie the game, which ultimately led that to overtime. Well, last night on a winning drive, somehow 18 seconds disappeared because somebody let the clock run when it shouldn't have been running. And guess what? Not a single person on the Steelers sideline, their coaching staff, in the press box. The only people that saw that were the people that were the 30 million people that were watching the game.
The announcers missed it.
That is a horrible mistake to not paying attention to the clock enough. And thank goodness Le'Veon Bell scored a touchdown. Because had he not, we wouldn't have been able to tie the game because there was no time left.
Exactly.
To
And
do
I'm
that.
sitting at home after our great show at the Park House, and I'm watching the game, and I see them walking on the field, and the clock's moving. I'm like, this is a Homer thing. I'm going Homer. Nobody's listening. Yeah. And I didn't know how many seconds. And I knew it was 10, 15, maybe more. I thought more.
I thought they were in Foxborough.
But it's like what are your coaches? You have 20 coaches there. Is anybody paying attention to the actual game instead of patting guys on the back and telling them you can do it, way to go?
But all in all,
cheerleaders.
The offense struggled. The defense came up big, and I understand that there was a Jarvis Jones sighting last night
he got a sack.
in San
I
Diego.
didn't watch the game,
You'll see it on film.
But Bud Dupree got a sack, Jarvis Jones got a sack, but more importantly, Antoine Blake had the pivotal play in the game where he did a pick six, which is something that the Steelers defense this year is doing something it didn't do last year. Actually two things that it wasn't doing last year: sacking the quarterback and getting turnovers. And it's making a big difference in the game. The offense tripped and stuttered and stumbled, but you can also thank the special teams for putting the offense in such a hole all game long. I think it was 4 consecutive punts where it was called back for blocking in the back or holding.
One penalty after another.
One penalty after another. And that leads me to my one last thing is, when are we going to hear Antonio Brown go off about not getting the ball?
He is in the locker room. You can tell.
He's not.
You can tell what he's like.
Hey,
he wouldn't get an interview with Zach Brenner.
No, Devin Shea asked him. Let's keep it 100 for the record. Devin Shea asked him. I kind of shoulder bumped him as he walked by. I kind of wanted to
Well,
dump
then
him
why
on his
didn't
head.
you ask him? If you can shoulder bump a guy, you could say, "Hey, would you do?"
I wasn't
interview?
shoulder bumping him because he was a classy gent. I was shoulder bumping him because I wanted I would have liked to dump him on his head and break his arm. But I think what we just need to remain calm, folks, because number 7's coming back on October 25th, and all will be well.
Well, can I
Wait a minute. He used my line. Remain calm. I heard that one somewhere before.
Can I make a bold prediction?
Sure.
You know what? You have 6 minutes and 58 seconds minus 3 minutes.
Only need about 22 seconds.
And I know where this one's going, but go ahead.
And this one's going, you probably do, but a genius is coming to town on Sunday. And Bruce Arians, the Pittsburgh Steelers got rid of Johnny Unitas. And that was the biggest mistake in Steeler history until they got rid of Bruce Arians. 2-time head coach of the year. He's an offensive guru. And I tell you what, they're going to put a 100 at least on the Pittsburgh Steelers.
What's he won?
50 points.
What's he won though? I mean,
he'll win the game Sunday.
I got coach of the year, but he's not. He doesn't have any championships without the Steelers.
To put your credence in the coach of the year, okay? I just wanted to tell you how much importance is put on Coach of the Year awards.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Last year in baseball, Matt Williams was Manager of the Year in the National League. Right now, he's looking for a job.
Okay, we're going to talk about the sport people actually watch. But Bruce Arians, the Pittsburgh Steelers have not won a playoff game since Bruce Arians won, and only appeared in one playoff game since Bruce Arians left. And
Folks, little disclaimer, we have facts now. We got facts.
As soon as Carson Palmer gets hurt, man, it's over for Steelers West.
He's healthy this week.
No, I just want to remind my friend Jim about a little something here, okay? Because Bruce Arians, let's not be deluded, he does walk on water, right?
Yes, he does.
He's going to split
When
the
it's
Red
frozen.
Seas. He's going to turn water into wine and all this other good stuff.
So did
But
Wisenhunt.
Jim Frazier, right here to my left, has stated that the Pittsburgh Steelers offense is probably going to be the greatest offense in the history of the
with
NFL.
Big Ben.
And that is run by Todd Haley, not Bruce Arians.
No, it's run by the offensive coordinator, Ben Roethlisberger, who proved it last night that he's the coordinator.
And how crazy
baby.
is that? How absolutely crazy is that, Levine? That Big Ben is limping around on the sideline, drawing up plays that win the game. You know, so that just goes to show you how Big Ben dwarfs Haley on the sideline.
Just because Todd Haley sleeps in his clothes doesn't mean he's a bad offensive coordinator.
Well, just like I got to defend Tomlin because they practice a lot of plays. It's just he has a big playbook, so they don't always get those plays. Ben remembered that play because he saw the field and how they were playing. That's what makes sense. That's what I think Vic meant. Because Tomlin's still coaching the team, and they do practice almost every play, right, that they think they need. Because you do go through it. If you played football, you know they do different scenarios. Correct, Smoking Jim?
I think we could all agree, though, that had Le'Veon Bell not got in, had they kicked the field goal, we probably would have lost that game.
Well, had he not got in, we wouldn't have had time to kick a field goal. But
if we ran it up the center, we still had a timeout. There was 5 seconds on the clock.
Let me tell you what happened.
Zach,
at about zero, he was stopped.
No, I'm talking about that was a wildcat play that was going out left, off left tackle. If we ran up the gut and he got stopped, there would have been
a traditional play.
A traditional play. We would have been able to call timeout.
I don't think there would have been enough time.
I think anybody that's
because you think about it, by the time
optimistic.
they got the players off there and got the ball set, the clock would have run down. I don't think they would have got the timeout done in time. But that's neither here nor there. But
you can always rewrite history when you're after the fact, just like what Tomlin's saying. They practice that play.
Hey, you know what? We won.
Always.
We won. We're going to the Super Bowl. So that's
You're
all
on
we're gonna
board,
say.
baby. I'll get the medication for you next week.
The same doldrums that we hear, how the Buccas were unfortunate to have the Cardinals and the Cubbies in their division. Hey, listen, the Ravens are in peril right now. The Brownies beat them, 33-30, and the team to beat in the NFC North right now looks to be Cincinnati.
You're the Bengals.
Until we play them. So
hey,
since he got a Hall of Fame
before we get
quarterback.
wrapped up here, Alan brought up the fact tonight's the Penguins' home opener, and we're not
They're
giving
losing 1-0.
We're not giving any love to the Penguins, but the Penguins have made a lot of changes this year, and we talked about how they brought in a lot of offensive talent, and it's just not panning out. The one thing they're not doing, they've got this kid that they drafted in the second round this year. His name's Spronger. And, they got him for 9 games. They can have him up here for 9 games, and then they can send him back down, and he doesn't lose a year eligibility. And so far, they're having him play 7 minutes a game. Now this kid, everybody says, is a top 6 talent. And what I mean by that, Jim, he skates on one of the first 2 lines. Okay,
there's 6 players.
There's a center and 2 forwards. Okay, so but they're not giving him a chance.
Hockey.
Now he's not skating with the big boys, and we need to find out. What is he ready to play now, or does he need to get more seasoning in the juniors?
That's a good.
The defense is suspect. Scuderi sleepwalking through defense like he was last year. He hasn't gotten any better. And, and the thing I can't understand, nor am I going to sit here quietly and watch, is Sid Crosby needs to shoot the puck. I mean, he does not shot the puck on goal yet in 2 games. What is he waiting for? How do you think you're going to score goals? Evgeny Malkin's has disappeared, but at least he's shooting the puck.
Yeah,
Phil Kessel's shooting the puck.
He's got some beautiful shots on goal.
You've got Chris Letang, you've got Phil Kessel, you've got Evgeny Malkin, you've got Sidney Crosby, and you've scored 1 goal in 2 games. It's completely unacceptable. We got to start poking pucks in the net.
I don't know where that come from, but that power outage is 2 years old on these things.
It seems like a continuation of the Rangers series last year.
It is.
And they better do something quick. I mean, I'm not writing them off like, Jim, after opening day, wrote the Pirates off, not writing off the Penguins, but they need to right the ship quick.
Stu. He was right. They were done. They both were right. They were done except for the 98 wins we got in between after they spotted them 2 games. And that's what's going to happen. It's going to be a tough season. As you know, it's a long season, 82 games. So we'll wait it out. And we need them to score some goals. That's all I care about. You got offensive guys, score. All right, we got to end this show. I want to thank Zach Brenner for being on the show, Smoking Jim Frazier, Chip the Prophet Hayner. Jack's been great on the camera. We got 18 seconds, Jack. And I'm just about ready to wind it down. I'm Al Levine, the Talking Machine. Thanks for watching us. Thanks for all those likes. 4863 on the likes. We appreciate it. And stay Joey strong.